Hey, so I made a video back in 2013, and I called the video My Story. And basically, it was just a video talking about my life, how I grew up, and everything. And I made it because a few people were just simply interested. The video was not re-uploaded because it was very, very personal. I was talking about like exes and all kinds of hardships in my life, which is fine. I am open about those things, but I wanted to talk about that again, but also summarize it because that video was like 45 minutes. And also, a lot of things aren't relevant anymore. Like, I don't need to tell you about my school life and my relationships and all this stuff. At least not in heavy detail, I don't need to. I figure, if people want to know a bit more about me, my history, who I am, why I am who I am, and all these things, by all means, watch this video. It's going to be a lot more summarized, but with a lot more detail because, again, that video was 2013, so I'm going to cover what I said in that video, but the quick version of it, and then, of course, a lot of things in my life since then. So, and also this video will be combined with, the video where I talked about my YouTube history? I'm also going to include that in here, too, so I can delete that video as basically a remake, and then just put everything into one shot, So if you're interested to know all about Matt, here you go. So what I have on the screen here is my flow code page. It's basically Linktree, but a lot better. And so I made this so that everybody can know where all my links are for social media and what I do and all that stuff. And of course, the description here is a quick summary of who I am on YouTube. Now, a lot of people don't really know who I am anymore, which is expected, right? I was extremely popular when I joined YouTube in 2005, and that popularity went until about late 2007, because I had a few channels. When I started, it was called Matthew C. MJ, and that was from 2005 to about 2007. Then I got banned off of YouTube for upload. I can't remember what the video was specifically, but I know one of my bans was for uploading Dangerous 2002 American Bandstand, and then another one was for uploading, I forget. All I know is that I got banned for uploading certain Michael Jackson clips that wouldn't be banned today, but apparently they were a big deal 13 years ago, I guess. But anyway, so I got banned for that. But when I got banned, I was extremely popular, and I'll get into detail in that in a bit. But that's when I started YouTube. And when I started, it was because my life was hell. I've always had a very difficult life growing up. I come from a pretty abusive family. They're better now, but it's been years. But growing up, it was very abusive. My brother was extremely abusive. I hate my brother a lot, and I still do today, even though I haven't seen him since like 2011 maybe. And I hate what he did to me and our family. But if there's one thing I have to almost thank him for, I guess, is that I learned how to deal with people really well. I learned how to deal with family abuse and all that stuff. And of course, luckily, I didn't grow up with that. I believe it's called like only child symptom. It's basic, or only child complex, something like that. You know how when a lot of kids are only children, because they don't have the experiences of siblings and all that stuff, they tend to grow up very sheltered, coddled, spoiled. And because I had a brother, especially a really bad one, by the way, he's 2 years older than I am. Because I had a brother like that, I grew up the complete opposite. In fact, so opposite, in fact, I remember when I think I was 15 at the time. I actually asked my mom if I was adopted. Because I'm nothing like my brother, I'm nothing like my parents. All three of them were complete fucking whack jobs. And when I asked my mom this, she got really upset with me, but I wasn't trying to upset her. It was a real question. I'm not adopted, by the way, but I asked her that because I thought I was. And a quick summary of my brother and why he was the way he was. When he started driving, he got into bad people, drugs, alcohol, and stuff, and then he basically went crazy. To my knowledge, he was actually born with anger management issues, and would always cause fights in the family. My dad worked as a car salesman. He was the manager of a car dealership, made a lot of money, but he was very cheap, so he never got me anything. And so because he was always working, it was always a giant war between my mom and my brother almost every day. And part of how I became extremely skilled at helping people and giving advice was because I was the mediator. I was like the angel, the peacekeeper. Every time my mom and my brother would have fights, which was every day, by the way, I know you're thinking, like, who the hell can fight every day? Well, when I tell you that they literally fought from the time that I was 14, my brother was 16, until I was 20, he was 22. For 6 straight years, my brother and my mom fought every day, all 365 days a year, for 6 straight years. That is not an exaggeration. And the fights would go sometimes 7, 8, 9 hours a day, even at nights. They would fight about things like my brother would want drugs, he'd want alcohol, he'd want money, he'd want to borrow the car. And if he didn't get it, he would go outside and damage the car, or he'd punch a hole in the wall, or he'd hit my mom. Just very, very abusive stuff. And when these things were going on, I developed the skills of how to solve these fights, because I was always the one calming down my mom, calming down my brother, stopping the fights, etc. And when these fights happen every day for 6 straight years, you start to develop some skills. So that's how I became very good at problem solving, at family disputes, and helping people through all kinds of personal issues like depression and whatever. So that's how I became like that. And then the next part is, how did I cope with that? Or I guess you could say, why didn't I become like my brother? Well, I first saw Michael Jackson when I was 5. I never saw him in person. But my mom recorded Bucharest, of course, off of TV onto a VHS tape when I was 5 years old, or 27 years ago. 27 years ago now. And I used to watch the concert every day. Of course, I was 5, so my brother hadn't gone crazy yet, but I was still really into Michael Jackson. At the time, I didn't really know anything about him aside from this concert, but I watched it all the time. And I didn't even care about his music. All I cared about back then was his dancing. I remember watching Bucharest every day, not kidding, every day, and just being mesmerized by his feet. I'm like, oh my god, how could he dance like that? Wow! And I fucking fell in love. I remember when I was a kid, I thought Michael was a robot, because I didn't know that human beings could move like that. And then around when I turned 14, I became very suicidal because of the family issues. I hadn't attempted suicide, but I was suicidal. Like I wanted to die as opposed to actually trying to do it. And that was because of the family problems. And how I became like a obsessive fan back then was I started listening to Michael Jackson's song Keep the Faith. And this song did save my life. It did save my life. It was because of this song that I decided not to kill myself and continue living my life. And even though I was depressed because of the family problems, I put myself into Michael Jackson. I was in love, and he supported me, and he was like a father figure and a role model and everything. And I wanted to basically mold myself after him. And so a couple years later, when I was 16, this of course is around 2005, I joined YouTube. And when I joined YouTube, I made the channel Matthew C. MJ. By the way, if you want to see some minor remnants of Matthew C. MJ, I can actually show you right now. So let me just go to Matt's FTR Deleted here. If you go to Matt's FTR Deleted, hit the playlist button. I actually have a playlist called the Michael Jackson Mixes, Matthew C. MJ Vault. And these are basically MJ mixes that I made back then. You might be thinking, like, what, Matt? There's only 17 in here, and some of them were made in recent years? You're absolutely right, but let me explain why this is. So when I made Matthew C. MJ, all I was doing, mostly anyway, was I was making Michael Jackson mix videos. to just upload. I would spend my time just editing mix videos. A couple that that became really famous that I don't have anymore, because I'll explain why in a bit. Let's see. I made a mix of Rihanna's "Don't Stop the Music" and Michael Jackson's "Wanna Be Startin' Something." This gained like 700,000 views. I made a mix of the Mitchell Brothers song "I Wish I Could Move Like Michael Jackson." That gained almost 1 million views. And I had lots of mixes like that. In total, I probably made over 100. Not a joke. But unfortunately, when Matthew C. MJ got banned, my computer also broke, so I lost all of my MJ mixes. So when I say I lost them all, you might now wonder, well, if I lost them all, Matt, why are there 17 here? Well, I'll explain them to you right now. This is 2013, so it was made afterwards. 2013, so made afterwards. This is 2007. This one I managed to salvage because another fan mirrored it off my page, and then I just downloaded it. This one here was a 2006 video, but I actually remade it. The reason why 2006 is in the title, even though I remade it later, is because I just simply wanted the original year in the title, even though the remake was not done in 2006. The Dangerous Mega Mix, this one was also mirrored by a random fan of me, so I managed to download it. This is made after, this is made after, this is made after, this is made after. You can see the years roll after 2007. The Mega Moonwalk collection is the same thing as the Beatbox Multi-Mix, where I did remake it, but again, I put 2006 in the title because that's the original upload time. After. Some of these videos got insane views, like the Beatbox Multi-Mix actually got over 10 million views. The Moonwalk mix got, I think, over like 5 or 6 million. And what people don't understand is that it was very easy to become popular on YouTube back then, because YouTube was brand new. I mean, even my popularity back then would not be too impressive today, but I hold on to it because it was impressive back then. So, yeah, through all the MJ mixes I made, I did become the most popular Michael Jackson fan on YouTube. And I'm aware that this was 14 years ago. I'm aware of this, you guys. I know some people mock me and say, Matt, you're not popular anymore. Get over it. You're right, I'm not. But I was back then, and it means a lot to me. I'm not trying to hold on to the popularity. What I'm trying to hold on to, and why I always talk about this, is not just the popularity. It's also about just my life in general. I was very depressed back then, dealing with all kinds of depression, suicidal thoughts, and family issues. So when I hold on to my old Matthew C. MJ channel, it's not just because I had views and subs back then. It's because this was how my life turned around a little bit anyway. I had a vice, I had somewhere to relieve stress and anger, and I had a hobby where people liked me. My MJ mixes were very popular, gaining millions of views. I had hundreds of thousands of... Oh, that's not true. I actually had millions of views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I believe my subscriber count was like... what was it? Actually, didn't I write it here? I almost forgot what I wrote down. But, that's right. I had almost... That's why I didn't remember the exact number, because I didn't put the exact number. It was something like 800,000 subs, but over 20 million views in total for the whole channel. And just to give you guys a little bit of evidence for how popular I was back then, I actually have a screenshot that I took in 2007. Because after Matthew C. MJ got banned, I made my second channel called Moonwalker Maddie. This channel was, of course, not as popular as the original Matthew C. MJ, and why would it? But... so it was called Moonwalker Maddie, and the channel got banned after 1 week. And it was because YouTube had this, I think they still have it now actually, where if you try to create a new channel under the banned channel's email, they just instantly ban you again, so I had to create a new email. That's why in this screenshot you may notice it says Moonwalker Maddie 1, because the first Moonwalker Maddie was banned after like a week. And then I had to make Moonwalker Maddie 1 because it was like an instant ban. I had to come back right away. So technically, like, Moonwalker Maddie is my second channel, but if you want to be technical, it's the third one. And even with it being the third channel, so again, The fans from Matthew C. MJ had to come and find me on Moonwalker Maddie. Then, just a week later, they had to come find me again on Moonwalker Maddie 1. So it was very hard. Like, it's crazy to even at the time being banned twice and still having to have all your fans come back and find me. But I had almost 1 million, so it was easy to have fans come back, but obviously not all of them did, because not all of them were able to find me. Especially under a different username. But some of the videos that I uploaded, I actually managed to screenshot the views they got. This screenshot was only taken, like, oh god, maybe just a few days after the upload. I was one of the first people to upload the entire Super Bowl halftime show. And as you can see, part 1 and 2, 183,000 views and 74,000 views. That was only uploaded for like 2 days. That's how popular I was. That just in a couple days, on my 3rd channel, I was all ready to amass that many views that quickly. So, yeah, I was a pretty big deal. And not only was I a big deal in terms of like my video views and all that kind of stuff, but I was also a pretty big deal on just YouTube, like within the MJ community in general, and what I was able to accomplish and the influence I had. So a lot of you may not know, but YouTube used to have groups. You know how Facebook has like group pages? Well, YouTube used to have them as well. And those were some good times back in 2008. So what I used to do, 2008, 2006, well, it was around since the beginning, and I think they got rid of it in 2009, if I remember correctly. But the first 3 or 4 years that I was around, I used to be in these groups. They were all MJ-themed groups, of course. But one thing I used to do, aside from just making MJ mixes, is that I would argue with Michael Jackson haters in comments of Michael Jackson videos. I would always argue and try to prove that Michael was innocent. And I became not only popular for the videos, but I became popular for that too. People considered me one of the smartest and best advocates out there, and I pretty much still am today. And I was really good at defending Michael Jackson's innocence, especially back then, because there wasn't many people doing it. Not only was I the best, but I was also one of the few, which I guess is why I was one of the best, because there wasn't very many of us anyway. So I was so popular, though, in terms of defending Michael Jackson, that people would create groups. And they would create their own groups, but because of who I was, a lot of the people would make me the admin of their groups. And even in groups that I wasn't part of, people would be talking about me. People would say, oh, if you need information about the Chandler case or something, go and ask Matthew C. MJ. He knows all about it. If it was a group that I was a part of, they make me the admin. And if I was not a part of the group, they would be talking about me, and then I would be sent it by another person. Like, I was a big deal. Like, I really was a huge deal back then. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. Like, it was a big thing, and it was cool, and I liked it, and it was fun. More importantly, it was just super fucking fun. And I had such a big influence in terms of, advocating for Michael. Oh, and actually, I should go back a bit. In 2005, this is actually before I joined YouTube, I actually believed that Michael Jackson was guilty in the Arvizo trial. That's the truth, I really did. And then I thought to myself, no, I really love this guy, I need to do more research. So I spent weeks and months reading through court transcripts and everything, and then I found out that he was in fact innocent. And it was at that time where I joined YouTube, also because of my family problems. But I also advocated for Michael at the time because I wanted to basically apologize for ever doubting him in the first place. And that's why I was arguing with so many anti-MJ people and got into all these groups and all this stuff, because I wanted to grow in that. I wanted to become this, like, the number one advocate, and I did. First I became the number one fan overall, then I became the number one advocate. And then after that, things slowed down a lot. Because Moonwalker Maddie also got banned, making it, I guess, this will be the 3rd time. Then I made a channel in 2008 called The One MJ Matt. I had no intention at this point of going back to who I was. And at this point, after being banned 3 times, people were just not finding me anymore. It was like the old days were gone. So when I made The One MJ Matt, I re-uploaded my Michael Jackson mixes yet again, but then I also started something new. I showed my face, and I also started ranting. I wanted to talk about the world, because I wanted to keep talking about Michael, and I did. But I didn't want to just talk about Michael. I wanted to talk about the world too. Because of my life experiences and the family abuse that I encountered. And by the way, a quick little side note is also because of the relationship abuse I encountered. I've had a lot of exes. I think in total I've had like 11. And I was abused by a lot of them. I was abused, I've been cheated on, I've been robbed by women, well, girls, whatever, because I was also young at the time. A 17-year-old woman. But no, I was young, and obviously my exes were young too at the time. My exes have always been my age, so if I was 17, she was 17. My first girlfriend, I believe I was 16. We were both 16. Anyway, that's aside the point. The point is, yeah, I had a really hard life at home. I had a hard life in my relationships, and I had a really hard life at school too. All through high school, I was abused. I was bullied. I was the one who was beat up, thrown into lockers. I was treated like fucking shit in school. I was very lonely. I was so lonely. I was so depressed. I was so badly abused. I was treated so horribly by classmates and everything. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but yes, I was basically abused everywhere. Abused in family, abused from exes that I was dating, abused in fucking school. It was bad. Anyway, moving on. So I wanted to talk about the world because I had so much street smarts. And one thing I always tried to teach people was that street smarts is so much more important than book smarts. Book smarts, of course, means what you learn from textbooks in school. But street smarts, despite the name, does not just mean the streets, okay? Street smarts does not mean what you learn on the streets. Street smarts does not just mean that you learn about drugs and gangs, no. The word street smarts actually means just any intelligence you gain from life experience. That's what street smarts actually means. And you do learn a lot more about life from street smarts than you do from book smarts. So, and I had a lot. At a young age, I had a lot. Like a lot. The first time I was ever called wise, I was only 5 years old. One of my exes, I won't tell you who it is, of course, but one of my exes, who was very much into spirituality and taught me about it, even told me that I have already been a grandfather twice in a past life. Now, whether or not if you actually believe in spirituality and reincarnation is up to you. I'm not even sure if I fully do. But the fact is, I was told this by a very spiritual person who believes in spirituality, and I can't help but wonder if maybe it was actually true, because for me to be as smart as I was at the age I was, I wouldn't be surprised if I've already been a grandfather twice, because I really do think like somebody who's lived 2 full lives. I genuinely do. So, yeah. Anyway, that's, how I became smart and everything, but I wanted to give my knowledge to other people. So, the one MJ Matt had MJ mixes, and then also a few of my super old original rants, Matt showing his face for the first time. And the one MJ Matt was not banned, to my memory. I don't think it was. I think what happened here was, a lot of the mix videos I had re-uploaded the channel wasn't banned, but a lot of the videos were just taken down for copyright. And I basically just thought, fuck it, what's the point? So I made yet another page called Matt's FTR at the end of 2008. And from this point on, my goal was to teach people about the world and nothing else. I didn't care about, being this great big MJ fan anymore. I didn't care about the groups and all this stuff. I just wanted to teach people, and I wanted to inform people about the world and how to make people better. I wanted to give advice. I wanted to counsel people because that's what I was good at. So, when I made Matt's FTR, that's what I did. And I didn't make too many MJ videos. What you saw on the playlist is pretty much everything that's been made since 2008 without being deleted or banned or copyrighted. So, I was not popular. At this point, after 4 fucking channels, I was not popular. I mean, Matt's FTR, which is the page I have now. As you know, I got banned again at the end of 2020, right? But the previous Matt's FTR page, the one that ran from 2008 to 2020, 12 fucking years, only managed to gain up to 4,000 subscribers. Absolutely pathetic. But I was, the kind of content I made does not get popular. 2008 wasn't so bad in terms of YouTube censorship, but I was trying to grow at the same time that the censorship was growing. With very controversial content like mine, that YouTube shadow bans like crazy, I was never able to regain popularity. Some videos did, because I was giving worldwide advice, but I was also advocating videos for Michael Jackson. A lot of people know, but I think a lot of people also don't know, that I was the very first person to go after Mike Parr in 2013. And these videos were very popular. A lot of them, popular, they weren't popular compared to Matthew C. MJ, but they were popular for me, because from 2008 to 2012, I would get maybe 500 views at a time, which even now is a big deal. But at the time in 2008, 9, and 10, getting 500 views was eh. So those are the kind of views I got for FTR videos and stuff and advice videos. But when I made an MJ video, whoo, like the Mike Parr videos, for example, they were pushing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 views. Some of them got 10, 20,000. Like my Escape announcement video in 2014 got 26,000 views. Fast forward to Leaving Neverland, my Debunking Wade video got 86,000 views. My Debunking Leaving Neverland video got 26,000 views. Like, there was a lot of the MJ videos were really popular, way more popular than my advice FTR life videos. People didn't really care about them. So basically, I was no longer the most popular fan, but I became one of the most popular advocates. And I wanted to make those videos, but one thing I wanted that I never got was that people can watch my MJ videos, that's fine, but can you also watch my other videos? And the response from 99.9% of my audience was, no, fuck you, Matt. I'm here to watch MJ, and if you upload anything but MJ, I'm not watching it. And this is why my MJ videos would range from, let's say, 1,000 to 10,000 views and sometimes higher. But my non-MJ videos that were giving advice or talking about the world would get 100, 200, 300. That's it. Nobody fucking cared. My advice and my worldwide videos were controversial. They were great with fantastic information, and they still are today, because I'm still doing the same thing. Fantastic video was just simply telling the truth about the world and trying to teach people and help people. And despite the fact that I was doing a good thing, no one gave a fuck. It didn't matter how good my videos were. In fact, that might have actually been the problem. My videos were good. And that's why people didn't want to watch them. I remember for years, I actually deliberately made my Michael Jackson videos very badly to try to push the views away from MJ and onto other stuff. And then my non-MJ videos had great information, editing. They were just overall filmed really well to try to push the views on those up, and it didn't work. I was still getting thousands of views on MJ and a couple hundred on non-MJ. And the sad thing is, it's still the same thing today. Although, because now this is the 5th fucking page that I'm on now nothing is popular, and I'm okay with it. I've been on here for over 16 years. I am the OG. It doesn't really matter what you think. All that matters is facts. And I am the OG. I was one of the first fans to ever join YouTube. I was the first fan to ever become popular. I was the first fan to become the first true, real, not just popular, but also smart advocate who debunked hundreds, and sometimes I think if you actually look at the real numbers of the people that I argued with about MJ's innocence, I may have changed the minds of thousands of people. If you go through, well, you can't now because the channel is the The old Matt's FTR page is gone, but the videos I made advocating for Michael, I had a lot of comments of people saying, "Hey, I didn't know this information. Thanks, Matt. I now believe Michael Jackson to be innocent." From the people that watched my videos and changed their minds to the people that I talked to directly, if you were to count them all up, there is probably thousands of people, thousands, who I convinced that Michael Jackson is innocent. This is why my past is a big deal. This is why my popularity is important to me. This is why I'm known, or was known, as not only the biggest fan, but one of the biggest advocates of Michael Jackson. And this is why some people these days refer to me as being the godfather of the Michael Jackson community. Because the godfather means who I was in the past, aka the father, right? I'm fully aware that these days I'm basically nothing. Even my Michael Jackson re-uploads in the past year on the current Matt's FTR page, even those aren't getting views. So I'm aware that nobody gives a fuck about the truth that Matt's FTR speaks, or even his past work being brought back today. I guess it's because people have already seen it and don't want to re-watch it, but the point is, no matter what the reason is, I don't have my old popularity, and I'm never going to have it again. I'm fully aware of this. But I'm the godfather. I'm the OG. You can dismiss me and ignore me and insult me all you want today, but my history will live on forever. And the influence I had, it was some of the biggest that the Michael Jackson community on YouTube has ever seen, and probably ever will see. I had a very rough life growing up with, like I said, family abuse and everything, and it was this that gave me not necessarily a way out, but at least some freedom from my rough life. I only told you like 5% of my personal life, but you know most of my online life and whatever. But yeah, simply put though, I had a very rough life, but it was that gave me the street smarts to make me intelligent enough to be able to help people and even become smarter than a real certified therapist, because I actually have given better advice than real therapists. I have actually helped people through depression and even suicide attempts. I've done it. This is not a matter of, well, Matt, are you certified to help people with suicide? No. But I have the experience because I've literally fucking done it. It's literally, it has actually happened. So, I got nothing more to prove. I'm going to continue making videos, obviously. But as you can probably see lately, I've cut back. I haven't made as many rants lately. I've been doing a lot of just miscellaneous fun stuff. And that's because I'm just kind of tired of talking about toxic political SJW bullshit. I'm still going to do that, but I've just been kind of tired of doing it lately. Anyway, I hope you check out my flow page, the thing you're seeing on the screen right here, to read my description there, and also check out some of these links to see the kind of stuff I do. I know most of you don't care, but it is really good stuff. And yeah, I hope you liked the Matt's FTR's Storytime. Bye.